Surprise, surprise! No more Mashakura John thanks to new Royco herbs and spices. Spiceka na Royco.
Panda tukupandishe on Go Entertainment this new year on GoTV. Bila kulipia extra. Kama uko on GoTV Lite, lipia GoTV Value. Utapata kufurahia GoTV Plus. Tayari on GoTV Value, then lipia GoTV Plus uenjoy GoTV Max. Kama wewe ni wa GoTV Plus, lipia GoTV Max nice na shows noma kabisa on GoTV Super. Furahia the best sports, international shows na local shows una like free. Download GoTV Stream. GoTV. Love it.
Join the Optivan family today and experience the epitome of coastal living at Ocean View Ridge, Vipingo by Optivan, just 2.4 kilometers from Mombasa Malindi Road and a mere 4.5 kilometers from the shoreline. For every 400,000 Kenya shillings that you place as a deposit or installment towards any of Optivan's properties, you receive a cashback of 4,000 Kenya shillings to top up for your back-to-school shopping. Call us on 0790 300 300.
Optivan, Optivan, no one shall back.
This is NTV.
Alright, it's Tuesday, the 23rd day of January 2024. Good evening and welcome. The highlights of top stories making headlines tonight.
They came and picked us out at around 2:46 a.m. in the morning, and some staff were beaten actually.
A brutal takeover. Patients and staff at Nakuru War Memorial Hospital caught in an ugly tussle. Impunity versus alleged forgery. Also tonight.
Hata hawa vijana wengine wadogo hawa tutawapatia mentorship. Lakini tukiwapatia mentorship waende polepole.
Mtu yeyote ambaye anaweza kugawanya watu kwa misingi ya kikaunti katika hii region yetu ya Mount Kenya. We don't want anybody kujaribu kugawanya watu wetu along county lines. That is retrogressive politics which we don't want in this area.
DP Rigathi Gachagua claps back at Ndindi Nyoro as Kithure Kindiki stays out of the DP Jiu-Jitsu. Is the mountain erupting? Plus,
I think he knew in his mind that he was not going to be the candidate, and therefore decided to support William.
So somebody somewhere was trying to sabotage my NDC.
Intrigues of Musalia Mudavadi's earthquake moment, political wits that cut both ways. Special report tonight. And no end in sight for the weakening Kenya shilling. Kenya's exports to Uganda crossed the 100 billion shilling mark for the first time.
Live from Nation Centre, this is NTV Tonight with James Smart.
Well, good evening everyone and welcome to the program. Our sign language interpreter is David Agundowa. Let's start where we should. And President William Ruto has come to the defense of his deputy Rigathi Gachagua over the ongoing push to have him drop Gachagua for Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro in the 2027 polls. And as NTV's Brian Mushiri now reports, Interior CS Professor Kithure Kindiki has distanced himself from succession politics, terming the current political talk on 2027 as tactless.
President William Ruto was in Gilgil constituency to open the Gilgil Technical Training Institute. It was here that he broke his silence on the rumble in the mountain. The president throwing a political jab at Keharo Member of Parliament Dede Nyoro, whom many consider a political student of the president.
Waende polepole, wasitusukume sana, sindio? Si tuko tayari, tumesema tutamenta hawa vijana, so wasituharakishe.
The deputy president seemingly relieved, jumping on the bandwagon by the president to reiterate the commitment for the vote-rich region towards Ruto's 2027 re-election.
Katika hii region yetu ya Mount Kenya, we don't want anybody kujaribu kugawanya watu wetu along county lines. Ati hii ni watu ya Murang'a, hii ni watu ya Nyeri, hii ni watu ya Kiambu. That is retrogressive politics which we don't want in this area.
For more than a week now, the onslaught led by Murang'a Senator Joe Nyoto was that it was time for Murang'a County to be supported by the rest of the Mount Kenya region and the country at large. Tuesday, during the burial of businesswoman and educator Lizzie Wanyoike in Gatanga, Murang'a County, Murang'a Senator Joe Nyoto hailed Murang'a County as a powerhouse that ought to be recognized. He also conveniently brought greetings from Keharo Member of Parliament Dede Nyoro.
If somebody has a suggestion, they should not be muzzled by anybody. Let people express themselves, and that is democracy. Pokeeni salamu za kijana wetu mzuri mkakamavu mfanyakazi Dede Nyoro, aliniambia niwasalimie. Asanteni sana.
All this time, Dede Nyoro has remained tight-lipped on the matter. For instance, when some 13 members of parliament took the podium to endorse him in a function in Keharo, he steered clear of the issue, only sticking to the day's agenda: education in Keharo. Interior CS Kithure Kindiki's name has also been subtly thrown into the debate to deputize President Ruto in 2027. Kindiki took to social media seeking to have his name dropped in any discussions. Through his official social media handles, Kindiki says in part, and I quote, "Political talk about the 2027 election or other future elections a year after a general election is tactless, anti-people and primitive." He further adds that President Ruto has assigned me the role of championing his administration's programs, and the ongoing debate ought to stop, but if it must proceed, I respectfully request that my name should not be dragged in it. End quote. This is the first time in a long minute that there has been such an outspoken difference in the mountain. Is President William Ruto's declaration enough to cool temperatures, or will the mountain be defiant? Brian Mushiri, NTV, Nairobi.
Well, the Mombasa County government has advised its residents to be diligent in hygiene practices after several cases of conjunctivitis were reported. The advisory comes a week after Tanzania reported an upsurge in cases. Conjunctivitis is more commonly known as pink eye and can be caused by viruses, bacteria, allergies, or irritants. Symptoms of the infection include redness, itching, blurred vision, and discharge from the eyes. The authorities are calling on citizens to observe hygiene measures, including washing hands with soap and water for a minimum of 20 seconds, avoid touching or rubbing eyes, avoid touching the face, and not sharing personal items such as towels, pillowcases, eye drops, or makeup. Pink eye can be contagious, and you're therefore advised to cover your nose and mouth when coughing and sneezing and dispose of tissues properly. Do not forget to disinfect surfaces your hands come into contact with and wear sunglasses to prevent further irritation of the eye. Blood vision or discharge from the eye, you're advised to seek medical attention immediately. Now, a family of Eldoret Town Tuesday became the first litigants to be affected by the ban imposed by the Supreme Court on senior counsel Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi after 6 judges of the Apex Court recused themselves from hearing their case. Ahmed Nasir was the lawyer on record representing the family of the late Noah Chelugui in an appeal filed by the estate of former President Daniel Moi and businessman Jaswant Rai. During Tuesday's online appearance before the court, the families, led by Chelugui's ailing widow Susan and son David Kepkomoi, asked the court to allow them to pick another advocate. After the court, judges led by Chief Justice Martha Koome reiterated their earlier decision to ban Ahmed Nasir from appearing before them. Moi's estate moved to the top court after they were ordered to compensate the family 1 billion shillings for grabbing their parcel of land in Elder Town in 1983. And our patients at the Nakuru Memorial were transferred to other facilities this morning following a raid that saw county enforcement officers and police evict all staff from the hospital. Nakuru Environment and Lands Court Judge Justice Millicent Odeni has directed the Nakuru County Police Commander to ensure that all staff, including doctors and nurses, regain access to the facility. Ruth Sanmue reports on the hostile takeover in the ongoing ownership battle between the hospital and the county government.
This was Monday. A county enforcement officer, popularly known as Kanjo, was chased away from the hospital after threatening to disconnect a dialysis patient from going through the process.
Jaribu kunitoa kwa mashini, kunivuta, but the nurses wakanisaidia. Wakamwambia watoke. When the nurses walisema wanaanza kumrecord, akatoroka.
On Tuesday, county enforcement officers accompanied by police raided the Nakuru War Memorial Hospital, evicting all staff and patients transferred to the private wing of the Nakuru Level 5 Hospital and other facilities. Only one who was in the intensive care unit was left under the care of one nurse.
They came and picked us out at around 2:46 a.m. in the morning, and some staff were beaten actually very early in the morning.
At the Nakuru Environment and Lands Court, a case filed in October 2023 by the hospital against the Nakuru County Government was up for mention. Justice Millicent Odeny directed Priska Nyota, the Deputy Registrar of the court, to inspect the facility following the night-long raid that left patients traumatized.
Can only implement what was said. If it is not possible, just stand back.
And just like the rest, Nyota too was barred from gaining entry into the facility for nearly 30 minutes, despite having court orders, but was later given access to carry on with the inspection. 19 patients who were admitted at the hospital were transferred to other facilities and others discharged following the raid.
If the county government trusts in the judicial system, then why did they take or instigate the directors to be charged in the court of law? And it is the same court which are issuing orders which they are blatantly disobeying.
LSK, we are collecting evidence on possible violation on human rights, because the right to health care is a constitutional right.
The Nakuru County Government has been warned against contempt of court barely 3 months after the same court barred it from interfering with the running of the facility.
Court orders must be obeyed. If you are aggrieved by an order, you have a right to appeal to the higher court. That is why the Constitution establishes hierarchy of courts.
The hospital and the county government are embroiled in a tussle over the ownership of a 25-acre piece of land which hosts the hospital. The two parties have been in court over the irregular renewal of the 50-year lease in 2021. Ruth Sarmoi, NTV in Nakuru.
95 suspects in the Shakahola massacre have been charged with 238 counts of manslaughter. The accused, led by their former preacher, Paul Ndenge Mackenzie, appeared before the Mombasa Law Court's Chief Magistrate, Alex Kithuku, and pleaded not guilty to all charges under the Penal Code. The court heard that they committed the offences between 2021 and 2023, killing 238 followers of the religious doctrine. They're expected to appear before the Children's Court in Tononoka on Thursday this week to answer to charges of child brutality that led to the deaths of 191 children. They will also face charges of infringing the child's right to education under Section 30 of the Basic Education Act.
Nyote kwa pamoja mnashtakiwa kwa kosa la kuua bila kukusudia ambayo ni kinyume na sheria. Maelezo ya mashtaka ni katika tarehe tofauti mwezi wa Januari mwaka 2021 na ule mwezi wa 9 mwaka 2023 kijiji cha Shakahola, Malindi, jimbo la Kilifi, kwa kutekeleza makubaliano ya kujua kwa lengo la vifo vyenu pamoja na wengine ambao hawapo kotini. Mulishirikiana kumua Rukia Masha, mwanamke mtu mzima mwenye mwili wake ulitambulikana kama MLD/SITE/XLI117/16/5/2023. Nyote kwa pamoja ni kweli ama si kweli? Si kweli.
The Teacher Service Commission says it will post 17 teachers to St. Gabriel Isongo Secondary School in Kakamega to replace the teachers who were transferred from the school. The announcement followed deliberations with members of parliament drawn from the county. The MPs met TSC officials at the TSC headquarters in Nairobi, where they offered an apology of an incident where angry parents and boda riders stormed the school and frog-marched the principal out of the school gates in protest of a poor performance in the 2023 Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education exams. Following the incident, the TSC transferred 17 teachers from the school. Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu had given its field officers and the Board of Management a week to ensure a resumption of normal learning activities at the school.
The entire leadership of Kakamega County, including the Honorable Member from Mumias East, Honorable Peter Salasia, have unreservedly tendered the apology to the principal, all teachers in the Republic, the Teacher Service Commission, and the people of Kenya over the unfortunate incident that occurred at St. Gabriel Isongo Secondary School. Political leadership of Kakamega County will conduct sensitization programs to educate the members of the community on proper channels of raising their grievances.
We could not foresee a situation where the teachers would work in a community that was unfriendly to them and that posed a threat to their lives. As a result of our deliberations, I wish to announce that the Commission will post 17 teachers to the school to ensure that normal teaching and learning activities resume with immediate effect.
Residents and leaders in Baringo County have expressed their reservations on the proposed affordable housing bill, citing discriminatory clauses that hinder inclusivity and accessibility for low-income earners. The proposed affordable housing bill, currently under parliamentary review, aims to address Kenya's housing deficit by establishing a framework for affordable housing development. But the residents say that the mandatory 10% deposit for a unit's value requirement for potential homeowners will exclude many ordinary Kenyans from its intended benefits. They raised their concerns during a public hearing on affordable housing bill at the Kenya School of Government in Kabarnet, Baringo County, chaired by National Assembly Finance Committee Chairman Kimani Kuria.
What I have seen in the bill is the 10%. Why do we not include even the 90% to know how we are supposed to pay? And in case of anything that happens, the principal member happens not to be there. You have already purchased the house, you have already occupied the house. What happens to the dependents?
I think there will be a very big disparity because I look at that cook in a school who has been remitting levy over the years and would also want to benefit from these houses. And they are not going to raise the 10% of the total value of that house. Is this bill sensitive to such cadre?
Why do we need to create another agency when we have the mother agency that has always been taxed since independence to cater for housing problems for people?
You're watching NTV tonight. Taking a short break, but coming up. No let up for the Kenya shilling free fall. Business news up next.
Welcome to the Delight Nakuru, brought to you by Username Investments. Perfect for your dream home, investment for holiday home, going only for 799,000 shillings for an eighth of an acre. SMS Nakuru to 20321 or call 0725 000 222.
With a promo code and get a welcome bonus. 1xBet.
Panda tukupandishe on Go Entertainment this new year on GoTV bila kulipia extra. Kama uko on GoTV Lite, lipia GoTV Value. Utapata kufurahia GoTV Plus. Tayari on GoTV Value, then lipia GoTV Plus uenjoy GoTV Max. Kama wewe ni wa GoTV Plus, lipia GoTV Max ujinice na shows noma kabisa on GoTV Super. Furahia the best sports, international shows na local shows una like free. Download GoTV Stream. GoTV. Love it.
Join the Optiven family today and experience the epitome of coastal living at Ocean View Ridge, Vipingo by Optiven, just 2.4 kilometers from Mombasa Malindi Road and a mere 4.5 kilometers from the shoreline. For every 400,000 Kenya shillings that you place as a deposit or installment towards any of Optiven's properties, you receive a cashback of 4,000 Kenya shillings to top up for your back-to-school shopping. Call us on 0790 300 300.
Haya! Umesikia? Kwenye star 570 hash kashake kameiva. Shamba ni mili na zinangoja ushindi wako kwa Lucky Game. Na hii Aprili mshindi wa kwanza anavuka na shamba lake. Na Mei tunamtangaza the grand winner wa shamba na lori ya mawe. Ni rahisi, kwenye star 570 hash kila shilingi 100 unaocheza nayo inakupa 1 entry point ya draw zote za shamba pekee na shamba na mawe. Vuka na shake, anza ujenzi kwenye...
I will be very delighted to do the test for you. But I am telling you, you are just wasting your money. Rodrigo is the father.
Bring me the test results first.
Tell me why these things are happening to me. I make an effort to stay away, but I always see you.
Then it must be faith that keeps on bringing us together.
I don't get why you're acting as the offended party when you are the one who provoked this.
Kimberly, tell me, why Morales?
I already told you why. He was always there for me when I needed him.
Do you have any idea what Morales means to me? He's my right-hand man.
That's the only thing you care about, don't you? It hurts more to lose Morales because you never cared about me.
Head over heels.
A very good evening to you. It is time for business news and my name is Nina Shaban. More effects on the weak Kenyan shilling shows the value of Kenya's exports to Uganda crossed the 100 billion shilling mark for the first time in November 2023. And the official data shows that Kenya exported goods valued at 105 billion shillings to Uganda in the year to November last year, a period that saw the Kenyan shilling lose 17.45% of its value against the Ugandan shilling. By the end of 2022, a Ugandan trader needed 30.18 units for their currency, Ugandan shilling, to get a Kenyan shilling, according to data from the Central Bank of Kenya. However, by the end of November last year, the same trader only needed 24.9 units of the Ugandan shilling, which means that they could buy more of the Kenyan products with the same amount of their currency. The value of goods exported to Uganda in the first 11 months of last year was more than 80 billion that Kenyans exported to the neighboring country in the whole of 2022, and this is according to data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. Kenya's recently completed trade deals have run into stormy waters after Nairobi applied higher import duties on whiskies and wines from the United Kingdom and the European Union, respectively, two jurisdictions with which it signed economic partnership agreements. Now, while Kenya, in line with the East African Community Customs Union, is applying a higher tariff of 35% on imported wines and whiskies to encourage local production, the two EPAs put the import duty at 25%. The deal with the EU is awaiting ratification in Brussels, while the agreement with the UK is operational. The countries in the EU and the UK, which produce Scotch whisky, tequila, champagne, and bourbon, are protected by a clause in the World Trade Organization agreement that forbids their manufacture in other countries. This has left Kenya in an awkward position, as it is expected to implement a higher tariff of 35% in line with common external tariff under the ESC Customs Union. At the onset of the Galana Kulalu Food Security Project in 2013, the then Jubilee government was hopeful of a historical agricultural project that would elevate the country from food insecurity. Midway, the project was marred by alleged corruption scandals that almost brought it to its knees, but it survived. NTV's Brian George Otieno was in Galana Kulalu and has a story of fact, intact, resilience and achievement of record results from the project.
In the vast hot and dry semi-arid lands of Galana Kulalu, close to the border of Kilifi and Tana River counties, is Selu Limited. The Chief Executive Officer, Nicholas Sambanya, is on normal rounds inspecting the farm after a bumper harvest of 1,200 metric tons of maize in 2022 alone, the pilot phase of a 3-year project under public-private partnership. For a project marred by misinformation and corruption allegations, Nicholas credits the success to key strategic partnerships with soil scientists, seed engineers, and researchers.
Now, we also moved on and worked with the crop nutritional laboratories to assess and analyze the soil. Now, we got an understanding of what then the soil in Galana needs and what kind of fertilizer regimes can work together.
So pH,
like that.
testing,
exactly.
soil science and all that.
Exactly like that.
Okay.
Yeah, then we entered into partner again with the likes of Yara East Africa and Elgon Kenya to then mold fertilizer blends, or come up with fertilizer blends that are actually suitable for the unique soils in Galana.
Being a semi-arid area and staring at the glaring effects of climate change, rain-fed agriculture was unsustainable. Hence, they resolved to fully revert into irrigated agriculture. The farms were designed in a circular manner to allow circular rotation of pivots from the National Irrigation Authority to supply water and farm inputs equitably to the crops.
And therefore, one of the initiatives that the country, and players like Selu are coming up with is to be able to harvest the water and store the water and preserve the water and make sure that we have enough water for purposes of irrigation. Now, right now, we'll be irrigating from the river. But the water will be harvested from the river into a storage reservoir from where then it can be used, then to be pumped into the field.
For now, the final stage of the pilot phase is to stretch the storage of the grain to as long as it can stay with the right moisture content to avoid toxins and rodents.
Over the next few months, we're going to scale up. We are going to move to the commercial phase of the project. Now, during the first few months, we'll scale up to 6,400 acres by the end of 2024. then we'll move to a total of 21,000 by end of 2026. Okay. Now, you are aware that the country imports over 1 million metric tons of maize annually to substitute the local production. Now, by 2027, this project will be contributing 10% or will reduce the importation by 10%.
Nicholas holds that his biggest lesson is the immense potential the region holds, and all it takes to realize such success is understanding the ecosystem and getting strategic partnerships.
Brian George, Otieno, NTV, Galana Kulalu, Kilifi County.
And that's it for Business News tonight. My name is Nino Shaban, still to come.
How would I have gone to a conference in Elementaita, make a decision on who is going to be the presidential candidate, and then go and call an NDC convention, and then have me declared as the candidate for ANC, and on the other side you have made a decision that maybe is somebody else. Don't you see mischief in that game?
The quirk that changed the national political narrative, or did it?
Welcome to the Delight Nakuru, brought to you by Username Investments. Perfect for your dream home, investment for holiday home, going only for 799,000 shillings for 1/8 of an acre. SMS Nakuru to 20321 or call 0725 000 222.
Haya, umesikia kwenye star 570 hash kashake kameiva. Shamba ni mili na zinangoja ushindi wako kwa Lucky Game. Na hii Aprili mshindi wa kwanza anavuka na shamba lake, na Mei tunamtangaza the grand winner wa shamba na lori ya mawe. Ni rahisi, kwenye star 570 hash kila shilingi 100 unaocheza nayo inakupa 1 entry point ya draw zote za shamba pekee na shamba na mawe. Vuka na shake, anza ujenzi kwenye star 570 hash.
Sí, ¿vos de qué parte sos?
Yo de aquí.
Ah, mira.
¿Tú de qué parte eres?
De norte.
It's Friday and things are looking a bit boring. Fanta. Submit to the fizziest of fizz. Surrender to a bubbly bliss. Fall for the tangiest of tangs. Succumb to the flavor frenzy. Fanta. Indulge with a sip and snack.
It's time to get stepping. Step up to your most loved content and enjoy the next level upgrade for free.
Respect that.
Upgrade now and step up to even more action. Step up to more football. Step up to more local drama. Step up to more fun and get more than you pay for. Upgrade now and get boosted to the next package for free. Dial star 423 hash or call 0711 066 000 and upgrade to the next level for free.
With a promo code and get a welcome bonus. 1xBet.
New Nivea Luminous visibly reduces dark spots. Does it really work? Trust me. For post-acne marks too? Of course. World's #1 anti-spot expert serum, now for post-acne dark marks and age spots. Visible results in just 2 weeks. That means also for my age spots. Already worked for over 1 million women. Nivea Luminous 630. It works.
when you're finally released from pain. That moment when you start to get back to ordinary, and ordinary feels amazing. Whatever pain you're going through, release starts here.
Welcome back. You're watching NTV Tonight. Now, a push by former President Uhuru Kenyatta in a meeting at State House Mombasa said that One Kenya Alliance leaders shelved their 2022 presidential ambitions in support of Raila Odinga, and a subsequent stand by Odinga was the final stroke that broke the Oka camel's back, leading to surprise union between the then NC leader Musalia Mudavadi and William Ruto, culminating in the earthquake of the January 23rd, 2022. Exactly 2 years after the surprise twist, our senior political affairs reporter, Ibrahim Karanja, revisits the unfolding events and now reveals the details in the formation of the Kenya Kwanza Alliance more than 9 months before the actual earthquake. Here is that special report inside Musalia's earthquake.
Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi, born on the 21st day of September 1960 to Moi-era minister Moses Subston Mudamba Mudavadi and Mama Hannah Atsianzale Mudavadi, both now deceased. The politician and land economist who hails from Vihiga County has had a 35-year journey in the political arena. While Madividi, as he has been nicknamed, had a fairly glorious run, even making history as the youngest cabinet minister, at some part of his journey was not as rosy. He had more thorns than petals. His political light, for some time, was dimmed. The 2022 race, the son of Mulembe seemed keen to exit the cold political streets and return to the warmth of high office, and he was ready to make drastic moves to get there. This drastic move, he said, was so huge that the man raised a quaker, termed it an earthquake.
The fact that it is being remembered and people want to look at it in terms of perhaps the second anniversary of that event attests to the significance and the upheaval that event caused in what was seen as a done deal, in what was seen as the norm in the politics. So the earthquake, as we called it then, in my view, was perhaps a Damascus moment for the Kenyan voter.
What did this earthquake entail? What were the emotions that built up to the final announcement? Did everyone consider it an earthquake, or for some, was it just a tremor? These are the intrigues of Mudavadi's earthquake.
We wanted Musalia Mudavadi to be president of the Republic of Kenya.
This is Geoffrey Kanoti. For years, he has been Musalia Mudavadi's advisor on political matters. And here, he speaks of the period before December 2021, when Musalia was in the One Kenya Alliance, Oka, leading it alongside Kalonzo Musyoka, Gideon Moi, Moses Wetangula, and Cyrus Jirongo. Their best bet as a solid alternative third force was riding the waves created by the brokenness of the relationship between then-President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto.
You could see people had different interests. Honorable Kalonzo had his own interest. He wanted to be president. He was arguing time was not on his side. He was to be the candidate. The other candidates were easy. They were discussing a coalition of purpose. They could all come together and craft a team. So the fight was between now Kalonzo versus Musalia.
As the main act in the 2021 earthquake moment, as he phrased it, to some, Musalia Mudavadi was not exactly the kind of man expected to pull such a move.
Musalia Mudavadi cannot be stereotyped. You know, we have had a situation where people always mistook respect, courtesy, humility, the demeanor that maybe one has, yours or mine or anybody else. We should never try and mistake that as that means that you can 100% run shoulders over that particular individual. So that, to me, let them know that I'm a person of independent thinking.
Because of his gentleman demeanor, probably people mistake him and assume because he's soft and quiet and has a gentleman's demeanor, he has no firm stand, but he had a firm stand on what he believed.
We had already decided as a party, ANC and the fraternity around His Excellency Musalia Mudavadi, that he was going to run for president. He was geared towards running. He was preparing everything. He was reaching out to his brothers in other parties and all Kenyans that had the same vision or had the same agenda. So in the honest, let me say, we wanted Musalia Mudavadi to be president. The other candidates were easy. They were discussing a coalition of purpose. They could all come together and craft a team. So the fight was between now Kalonzo versus Musalia. And so even the committee that came together, they reached a point, they gave them a ticket. They said, if we have Musalia for president and we have Kalonzo as his running mate, and you craft along those lines, Gideon Moi and others coming in to help, we were going to win the election.
I hold the view that had One Kenya Alliance stuck together, one of us would have probably been president, not even Raila.
We had seen some level of arrogance in the political arena, where people want to determine who your friends are. People want to determine who takes up what posts. I don't know whether you will recollect that we even saw a situation where as you go forward, an outgoing person is forcing somebody to appoint certain people in the cabinet, you know, even before you have gone through the election. So when one looks at that kind of situation, for me, it was, we are dealing with either state capture, we are dealing with extreme arrogance of the political elite, which was stifling not just the economy, but also trying to stifle the rights of the people to make their decisions. So we had to break that.
Disagreements in Oka led to our exodus to join His Excellency William Ruto. And this came from Mombasa, whereby the principals went. That was followed by the Uhuru Kenyatta meeting with His Excellency Mudavadi, His Excellency Kalonzo, meeting also with Raila Odinga, the Prime Minister, and also in that meeting, the former governor of Kakamega, Oparanya, attended. It's that meeting in Mombasa that broke the pot, whereby now Uhuru insisted he would support Raila as a candidate, and Raila was asked if he had any other alternative apart from himself. He was opting, he could only go for, maybe for Oparanya. And Oparanya was not part of the delegates that were supposed to go to State House. He was not even a principal at that time, but Raila had come along with him. He wasn't going to support His Excellency Mudavadi. I think for him, that was a ticket gone. And so he was going to choose somebody of a lesser power or a lesser following or influence, so that now they say the whole thing cannot work.
For how long had you been engaging with President William Ruto before the 23rd of January 2022?
We would talk once in a while on various issues, but not very often on matters politics, because I was running my campaign, he was running his campaign. But closer to the earthquake, we engaged a little more.
Myself, I got to know months before, and before the earthquake. And at the time there was speculation, in 2021, there was actually nothing. But towards the end of 2021, that discussion began quietly for obvious reasons.
You remember I went to the wedding of his family wedding? So it was an open moment, a moment when you're celebrating family. And I got an invite. And I said, this is, in spite of our political differences, celebrating family is important. I went to the wedding. I know it rattled so many people. Some were shocked. But that is maturity. That is the sense of nationalism that we should be able to bring to our country, and even for the new generations.
The working between Musalia and Ruto did not begin like just the week to the earthquake. You remember way back, you saw Barack Muluka leaving and Owalo leaving and joining.
William Ruto.
Yes. The president, the deputy president at that time was reaching out. He had already reached out to us, he had already reached out to Musalia, but at that time, our resolve was to run for president. They had already, a group bolted, went, and they became also now a softer spot whereby if you needed to move, it was easy to move. So the pathway had already been created.
We talked about what we think, where the country is going. And I told him that as much as we may have different political situations, I think it's also important that as Kenyans we can engage, and we should engage.
We had some of the MPs who already knew something had happened, and his deputy Ayub Savula was the first one to alert us and to walk out. He was not the only ANC member of parliament who left Musalia. We had Navulindo of Matungu, we had the Butere MP Tindi Mwale, we had all these other MPs moving out, including Bishop Hamala. They came to DAP. We had started our new party, and they felt that they were not in support of William Ruto's presidency. and they were more aligned to DAP and to Raila's candidature. So it wasn't a surprise to us.
How early was this?
Quite early, because at some point you could notice some double speak from them. They were with us in BBI, they were not with us at some point. Then eventually they moved.
You're watching NTV Tonight. Inside Musale's earthquake continues on the other side of the break. Don't go too far.
Join the Optivan family today and experience the epitome of coastal living at Ocean View Ridge, Vipingo by Optivan, just 2.4 kilometers from Mombasa Malindi Road and a mere 4.5 kilometers from the shoreline. For every 400,000 Kenya shillings that you place as a deposit or installment towards any of Optivan's properties, you receive a cashback of 4,000 Kenya shillings to top up for your back-to-school shopping. Call us on 0790 300 300.
Optivan, Optivan, inua shamba.
There's a kind of bank assurance intermediary that really allows you to relax because you know you'll be good. That's Coop Bank Assurance Intermediary for you. Get covered real good through Coop Bank Assurance Intermediary.
I will be very delighted to do the test for you. But I am telling you, you are just wasting your money. Rodrigo is the father.
Bring me the test results first.
Tell me why these things are happening to me. I make an effort to stay away, but I always see you.
Then it must be faith that keeps on bringing us together.
I don't get why you're acting as the offended party when you are the one who provoked this.
Kimberly, tell me, why Morales?
I already told you why. He was always there for me when I needed him.
Do you have any idea what Morales means to me? He's my right-hand man.
That's the only thing you care about, don't you? It hurts more to lose Morales because you never cared about me.
Head over heels.
In spite of the doublespeak that Eugene Wamalwa suggests to have noticed about the movements of Musalia Mudavadi, the One Kenya Alliance continued with its activities. On the 21st of January 2022, OCA and its technical team, together with the principals, converged in Elementaita, and they said that they were to name a presidential candidate. I covered that particular meeting, and Musalia Mudavadi was conspicuously absent, giving credence to reports that he could be on his way out.
I do not think Brother Musalia is the type of person who would be wooed at night and not say it during the day. He says it as it is. So stop this wooing business, even you, Karanja.
What indeed Kalonzo is saying is true about Musalia Mudavadi. He says it as he sees it.
I believed exactly what I said. But with a bit of hindsight, I was wrong. There are lots of consultations that were happening.
Some of us who are close to them were aware that they were with us during the day, but at night they were with William. And ultimately, when they made the decision at Bomas, it was not an earthquake really, because we knew what to expect.
There was a lot of mischief in what was taking place in Elementaita. a lot of mischief. The people who were in Elementaita, to be honest, and we talk of the parties that were in place at that time, Wiper had had its delegates conference, and they had nominated Kalonzo as their. Ford Kenya had had its delegates conference and nominated Wetangula. Kanu had had its delegates conference and nominated their, and we were supposed to be in one conversation at that time.
I went to represent my principal, His Excellency Musalia Mudavadi, that he was part of the team. He wanted teamwork. He wanted these people to make a decision and pick a candidate. If they had picked a candidate and he was the candidate, he was the earthquake already would have been a serious earthquake because he was going to be announced as the candidate. But if they refused to accept that he was the candidate, the opinion polls had given him advantage. Finances, he had more finance than all of them. Prepared for the election, and so the logistics around presidency was favoring him. And so when we went to that meeting, it was a decision to be made: who is our candidate? And they failed to come up with a candidate. Kalonzo was still saying, "I am the candidate, and if it's not me, I'm not supporting anybody else." Mainly he quoted age. He said he could go for one term and Musalia goes for another term. Or he goes for a full term, 2 terms, and then Musalia can be supported by him another 2 terms.
We were not very clear at that time. Maybe that may have influenced Musalia. I think he knew in his mind that he was not going to be the candidate, and therefore decided to support William.
Doesn't it occur to you that the people who are rushing to make a decision on the presidency in Naivasha were up to some mischief because they knew very well that my NDC was lined up? So how would I have gone to a conference in Elementaita, make a decision on who is going to be the presidential candidate, and then go and call an NDC convention, and then have me declared as the candidate for ANC, and on the other side you have made a decision that maybe is somebody else? Don't you see mischief in that game? So somebody somewhere was trying to sabotage my NDC.
In 2 days, Musalia Mudavadi was announcing his political truth. A tense political moment, with players in the political scene guessing which way Musalia. Everything was calculated, from the guest lists to the seating arrangement and to the speech he made.
They are the worst burden that the country has ever had to carry.
Of course, you will remember his speech that day. It's probably billed as one of the best speeches Musalia Mudavadi has ever delivered in his public life, because he spoke to the hearts of the Kenyan people. He spoke to issues as they are.
We would like to recommend that the principles around Uchumi Bora, Pesa Mfukoni, as put out in the ANC manifesto, become a guiding principle for our foreign policy, and indeed to make us put Kenya Kwanza in whatever we do and whatever we negotiate.
That reference to Kenya Kwanza was not by accident.
To be honest, Kenya Kwanza was a title that through ANC we had registered with the Registrar of Political Parties.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is that moment. This is that earthquake moment.
And it resonated well with the people. It was a very simple message. In English, you will say, let's put Kenya first. In Kiswahili, it's Kenya Kwanza. Easy.
It is.
Easy to move. Just the way when in the previous election, I had worked and registered NASA. And it became a rallying call, a clarion call, and a coalition name. So equally, when I pushed forward the registration of Kenya Kwanza, it was on the understanding that going forward, we have reached the politics where coalition building is going to be quite central in Kenya's politics. And sometimes there's comfort in having a coalition name without undermining the individual party. So we registered Kenya Kwanza, and we put it, when the time came, we put it on the table that if we are to have a coalition, does this resonate? Does it capture the mood and the imagination of the Kenyan people?
At the registrar, His Excellency Mudavadi had already booked through me the registration of the Kenya Kwanza Alliance. And if you look at the dates from the registrar, you'll see it's 14th April in 2021. So we were having Oka here, but also on the sideline or under the table we had our Kenya Kwanza certificate. We knew that we will need to move. Because as I told you, our resolve was we must run for president.
And we knew from the right go, even by the time we walked into Bomas, that they would be coming in with their political parties and would have to put together some sort of coalition.
I look at the earthquake moment as a moment of courage, yeah, a moment of reawakening, of renaissance, so that the voter had the opportunity to see that, hey, wait a minute, KANU wanted to have its NDC at Bomas. The invitation list, the determination of who comes and all that was purely a KANU affair. We had not even registered the One Kenya Alliance per se, all right? It was still something information, it was fluid. But KANU had a chance. They made their invitation. They invited whoever they wanted to come. The rest is history. You know who was in attendance. You know who was the guest of honor. It happened. Then we had the Wiper NDC. They had their engagement. They had their invitation list. It went on. We attended. But when you invite people to your function, I, as another invitee, cannot try and determine who should be on your guest list. That is for you to determine. So that went. Ford Kenya had their NDC. They had their invitation list. Believe it or not, the day ANC was having its NDC, do you know there are people who wanted to determine who should be on my visitors list before the Bomas event? That is impunity. It's arrogance. I have attended your NDCs. You have invited who you wanted to invite. But when it's my turn to have mine, you purport that you want to determine who should be my guest.
Would you in particular, because we are writing history here?
Oh yeah, the Wiper people, the Kano people. Didn't you see them fleeing from my NDC?
They did.
Yeah, they fled. They had tried to turn around and say, who are you inviting? And you should not invite so-and-so, or those ones should not come. Now, the earthquake was a moment of getting people to unshackle themselves from this feeling that in Kenya's politics, there must be a pariah, okay? There must be the damned and those who are not.
Ladies and gentlemen, the earthquake is about to happen. The earthquake is about to happen. Please make way, make way.
We were not involved in planning the NDC. We were invited quietly. That's when you remember Gideon Moi, Kalonzo Musyoka, and I don't know who else was there running away. Sprinting out of bombers.
Why are you leaving? Excuse me, sir?
And I don't know why you need to run away, because you've seen the UDA people walking.
Excuse me, sir, why are you leaving?
No, we came to congratulate MM.
Yes.
And we have congratulated him.
But why are you not staying for the rest of the function?
We have congratulated him.
That was
That's
it?
why we came.
Now we saw the seating arrangement, we checked, and we were told they were expecting William Ruto.
They had to find an exit strategy, but they were caught by surprise, which I thought was quite unfair of Musalia to have exposed them to such, because there are leaders who had said they cannot work with William Ruto. So for them to have been placed in the same conference with William Ruto, I think they suffered a lot of discomfort and they had to leave.
So I remember actually Weta walked me out, and I remember telling Weta, my friend, since our brother Musalia has gone, you have a very unique opportunity to rally the community of Western Kenya behind you. Please don't let that go.
So, just come. You see, Ruto seat next to me.
Those are my final words to my friend Weta. The Mulembe Nation, you have a chance to now take hold of the Mulembe Nation. But then similarly, then he followed. You remember the story of Lot's wife.
It's when I discovered who are really my friends. It was a moment of awakening. Because I had stood with them at their functions, but they were running away from my function. So, were they really my friends?
Aside from Kalonzo, who you've stated you approached and refused to come, were there any other politicians or leaders from that other faction who you equally approached and refused to come? At the time Musalia was...
I don't know why this is coming now. We will write books. Martha Karua. Up to a week before she was named as the running mate, we were talking to her. But she insisted on things that we were not willing to give her.
What were these things?
I will not disclose.
Is what you're calling that earthquake event. When Musalia ends up losing his own gubernatorial, his own Vihiga governor to ODM, okay? And I think also Senator is also not even, I mean, Haniri, I don't know whether he's not Kenya Kwanza. Even his own member of parliament. That was the effect of that decision. So these decisions clearly have consequences. So therefore, what you're calling an earthquake could have been a terrible thing for my brother. Had we stuck together as one Kenya, I believe we'll be more respectable as a team.
At the end of the day, we won the election. Kenya Kwanza won the election. We formed a coalition. And the issue or the impact of the earthquake is not just, cannot be measured by trying to regionalize it. Okay? This was a national issue. It was a political decision that had far-reaching implications in Kenya's political landscape. It is a decision that defeated the so-called system.
Well, that's Inside Musalia's Earthquake, a relook at the politics that defined 2021 and 2022 elections. Coming up next in sports news. Nairobi readies to host Christie Sevens in July.
Welcome to the Delight Nakuru, brought to you by Username Investments. Perfect for your dream home, investment for holiday home, going only for 799,000 shillings for 1/8 of an acre. SMS Nakuru to 20321 or call 0725 000 222.
Well, Nairobi will host the opening round of the 2024 National Sevens Circuit when the Christie Sevens takes place on July 27th and 28th at the RFUA grounds before heading to Kakamega for the Kenya Rugby Union Sevens set for August 3rd and 4th. The KRU Sevens replace the TSAP Sevens. Teams will break on the 10th and 11th of the August before heading to Kisumu for the Dala Sevens on August 17th and 18th, with the George Mwangi Kabeberi Memorial Sevens taking place on August 24th and 25th. Mombasa will play host to the Driftwood Sevens on September 7th and 8th, with the curtains falling on the circuit in Nakuru on September 14th and 15th, when the Prince-Law Sevens take place at the Nakuru Athletic Club.
Everything okay? Are you enjoying the game? Are you enjoying the game? Are you enjoying the game?
Over 25 athletes from 10 countries have enlisted for next weekend's Sirikwa Classic World Cross Country Gold Tour meeting at the Lobo Village in Uasin Gishu County, Kapseret constituency. Speaking at the Golazo headquarters in Nairobi, race director Barnabas Korir disclosed that this year's event has drawn contestants from East Africa, Great Britain, South Africa, Ukraine, Norway, Morocco, Romania, and Bahrain. The foreigners will have a mountain to climb against the Kenyans, led by World 5-kilometer silver medalist Lilian Kasait and World Cross Country Championships Under-20 bronze medalist Pamela Kosgei, among others. Meanwhile, Dettol has committed 2.6 million Kenya shillings as a boost to the third edition of the race, slated for February 3rd this year.
This partnership serves as a clear testament to Dettol's commitment and an active role in supporting young sportsmen and women on their journey to success. In the years to come, they will probably carry the Kenyan flag to the global stage as they have always been.
This year is also going to be as big as it should have been before. So it is very important for us to ensure that we encourage corporates to come on board, and we are really excited and happy to have Dettol with us in supporting these events.
Well, Equatorial Guinea's President Teodoro Obiang Nguema Gatso has declared Tuesday, January 23rd, a public holiday in the country to celebrate their 4-0 victory over host Ivory Coast on the Monday African Cup of Nations qualifier. Equatorial Guinea stunned the football world with an exhilarating performance in their last group game at the Alassane Ouattara Olympic Stadium in Abidjan. It was Equatorial Guinea's best AFCON performance since reaching the semis as hosts in 2015 when Ivory Coast won their second crown. Tonight, Angola take on Burkina Faso as Mauritania entertain Algeria in the late night kickoff at 11 p.m. Kenyan time.
So can they get a second here? They can! Oh my word!
Novak Djokovic came through a grueling 4-set contest with an American Taylor Fritz to reach the semi-finals of the Australian Open. Djokovic, who was seeking a record-extending 25th Grand Slam titles and 11th at Melbourne Park, wore Fritz down to win 7-6, 7-3, 4-6, 6-2, 6-3 in 3 hours and 45 minutes. Djokovic will face Yannick Sinner in the semis. Meanwhile, 4th seed Coco Gauff will played nowhere near her best, but still managed to scrape past Ukraine's Marta Kostyuk and reach the Australian Open semi-finals, where she will play Ariana Sabalenka. Well, that does it for us here on NTV tonight. Do have a lovely night. My name is James Smart.
This is NTV.
Step up to more fun and get more than you pay for. Upgrade now and get boosted to the next package for free. Dial *423# or call 0711 066 000 and upgrade to the next level for free.
There's a kind of bank assurance intermediary that really allows you to relax because you know you'll be good. That's Coop Bank Assurance Intermediary for you. Get covered real good through Coop Bank Assurance Intermediary.
I will be very delighted to do the test for you. But I am telling you, you are just wasting your money. Rodrigo is the father.
Bring me the test results first.
Tell me why these things are happening to me. I make an effort to stay away, but I always see you.
Then it must be faith that keeps on bringing us together.
I don't get why you're acting as the offended party when you are the one who provoked this.
Kimberly, tell me, why Morales?
I already told you why. He was always there for me when I needed him.
Do you have any idea what Morales means to me? He's my right-hand man.
That's the only thing you care about, don't you? It hurts more to lose Morales because you never cared about me.
Head over heels.
With a promo code and get a welcome bonus. 1xBet.
This is NTV.
ลอดเวลาผมมีความรู้สึกว่ารากเหง้าผมคือใครครอบครัวผมคือใครพ่อของผมคือใครใครคือพ่อของผมแล้วสิ่งเหล่านี้เนี่ยมันคอยย้ำเตือนตลอดเวลาว่าผมเป็นลูกไม่มีพ่อ
I used to come and clean all these graves off and paint them so the kids can know where their grandparents are. This is my mother, Willie Mae.
มันก็เป็นอะไรที่ค้างคาใจเราอยู่แต่เราก็ทำใจยอมรับมันได้ว่าโอเคไม่มีโอกาสก็ไม่เป็นไรแต่เรื่องราวเหล่านี้มันกลับเกิดปาฏิหาริย์ขึ้นทุกคนดูดีมากๆแต่เราดูดีที่สุดเฮียค่ะมีจืดแล้วค่ะอันนี้ที่เห็นแล้วคุณเอาข้าวเข้าไปแล้วเอาผ้าขาวบางเนี่ยห่อข้าวเข้าไว้แล้วก็อย่าไปคิดให้มากถ้าไม่อยากแก่เร็วให้ชั่วให้เร็วก็ช่างหัวอะไรเราเป็นคนผิวสีคนแรกของประเทศที่ได้เป็นทั้งนายแบบได้เป็นทั้งนักแสดงได้เป็นทั้งพิธีกรได้เป็นทั้งนักร้องได้เป็นทั้งดีเจจะเป็นพระเอกนะคิดว่าเพราะเราแตกต่างจากคนอื่นมันทำให้เรามีความรู้สึกว่าแล้วเราเป็นใครมาจากไหนรู้ตัวอีกทีหนึ่งผมก็ไปอยู่กับครอบครัวอื่นซึ่งไม่ใช่ครอบครัวของผมเองตอนเรียนหนังสือเราก็มีปัญหากับเพื่อนตลอดเพราะเราโดนล้อโดนบูลลี่โดนอะไรสารพัดเยอะแยะมากมายในเรื่องสีผิวเราคิดว่ายังไงเนี่ยอยู่กับพ่อแม่เราเนี่ยเรายังมีความสุขมากกว่าคือเรายังมีความมีตัวตนเป็นคนที่เขาน่าจะรักมากกว่าครอบครัวนี้
รอซูชิเกิดอยู่เมืองไทยมาจากจังหวัดอุดรนะครับเกิดปีเมื่อ1974สมัยสงครามเวียดนามพอดีก็มาอยู่อเมริกานี่ก็ตอนอายุ16ตอนเป็นเด็กนี่จะรู้ว่าเป็นเด็กไอ้กันว่าเราเนี่ยเป็นเด็กอเมริกันคือเราไม่รู้ว่าพ่อเราอยู่ไหนใช่ไหมหน้าตาเป็นไงเราไม่รู้เลยมีแต่แม่บอกว่าเขาเสียชีวิตแล้วอะไรอย่างเงี้ย
The attacks slashed at North Vietnam with renewed fury. Raids against oil stores in Hanoi marked a fresh escalation.
ทุกคนก็รู้อยู่แล้วว่าชาติเดียวที่เข้ามาในประเทศไทยช่วงนั้นก็คืออเมริกาถูกต้องไหมฮะฐานทัพอเมริกาเนี่ยอย่างอุดรก็จะมีฐาน2ฐานทัพก็คือรามาซูนสเตชันกับกองบิน23อย่างอุดรเนี่ยก็มีประมาณผมไม่แน่ใจอาจจะมีถึงประมาณ200กว่าคนเด็กลูกครึ่งนะฮะเด็กลูกครึ่งหลายคนก็โชคดีที่พ่อเขาเอาไปด้วยเอามาอยู่ด้วยอย่างเงี้ยเอากลับมาอเมริกาแต่ว่าหลายคนไม่ได้โชคดีขนาดนั้นในหมู่บ้านนี้เราก็จะเป็นผิวขาวอยู่คนเดียวใช่ไหมก็ดูแตกต่างจากเด็กคนอื่นนะบางทีมันก็ถูกล้อบ้างแบบเฮ้ยไอ้ฝรั่งผิวขาวอเมริกันอย่างเงี้ยแต่บางทีเราก็อยากบอกเฮ้ยเราก็พูดภาษาไทยนะเราก็เป็นคนไทยทำไมเขาต้องเรียกเราอย่างนั้นด้วยเข้าใจป่ะ
ทาลิปมันหน่อยแอนดี้เกิดที่โคราชเป็นลูกครึ่งสมัยสงครามเวียดนามรุ่นแรกเลยตอนเป็นเด็กนี่ลำบากแค่นี้อาหารพี่อายุ12เนี่ยแม่หายไปเลยพี่ไม่รู้ว่าแม่หายไปไหนก็ระหกระเหินอยู่กับเพื่อนมั่งอยู่กับคนนู้นอยู่คนนี้มั่งคือยังนึกขึ้นมาแล้วว่ารอดไปได้ยังไงบางทีไม่มีบ้านอยู่อยากเจอพ่อไหมก็ไม่ได้รู้แต่ว่าเราอยากจะเรียนจบเราอยากจะมีชีวิตที่ดีอ่ะแล้วคือตอนนั้นเราจะไปตามหาเราไม่มีข้อมูลอะไรก็เลยเรียนรู้ที่จะปล่อยวางปลง
คือสตอรี่เนี่ยต้องเล่าให้ฟังนิดนึงว่าตอนเกิดมาเนี่ยเรามีชื่อคุณพ่อที่เป็นในใบเกิดเนี่ยเป็นใครก็ไม่รู้ซึ่งเราไม่รู้จักด้วยงานในวงการบันเทิงนี่แหละมันทำให้เราเนี่ยได้มีโอกาสได้ค้นพบครอบครัวของเราเองก็จะมีรายการต่างๆเยอะแยะมากมายเชิญผมไปออกแล้วทุกรายการผมก็จะพูดว่าผมอยากเจอพ่อแม่ของผมหลังจากนั้นเป็นการที่ว่าแม่ติดต่อมาหาเราก็เลยถามแม่บอกว่าแม่พ่อผมเป็นใครแม่ก็บอกได้ว่าเป็นทหารอเมริกันที่มาร่วมในสงครามเวียดนามแต่ว่ารายละเอียดอย่างอื่นไม่มีเพราะว่าแม่โกรธที่พ่อทิ้งไปแล้วทำให้แม่มีภาระมีเองขึ้นมานี่แหละแม่ก็เลยทำลายทุกอย่างที่เกี่ยวกับพ่อก็ทำให้ความฝันที่ผมจะได้เจอครอบครัวของผมมันหายไปพร้อมกับความทรงจำของแม่แล้วก็ตัวแม่ก็คือตอนนั้นผมก็บอกว่ายอมแพ้พูดไงกิฟต์อัพแล้วโอเค
Let's leave it here. Leave it here? Yeah. Hello. Hey, go, Mama. Slice hot, Mama. สมัยก่อนไม่มีอินเทอร์เน็ตเนาะทำอะไรนี่จะติดตามหาคนมันลำบากสมัยก่อนปุ๊บสิ่งแรกที่คิดได้นี่เริ่มรู้จักโฟนบุ๊กเราก็พยายามเปิดหานะเราอยู่แค่จอร์เจียนี่โฟนบุ๊กแค่นั้นนะมันก็คงแค่เป็นเมืองเล็กๆสำหรับเมืองเล็กๆนะสมุดโทรศัพท์สมัยก่อนมันจะบอกเบอร์โทรศัพท์แล้วก็จะบอก address ด้วยในช่วงยังอยู่ไฮสคูลเนี่ยเขียนจดหมายไปหาหลายคนนะส่งรูปส่งอะไรแบบบอกชื่อแม่เขาทุกคนรู้จักผู้หญิงคนนี้ไหมรู้จักเคยไปรบที่เวียดนามหรือเปล่าอยู่อะไรอย่างเงี้ยยิ่งมีคอมพิวเตอร์แล้วยิ่งขันเขาเนี่ยยิ่งขันมากขึ้นมันกลายเป็นงานอดิเรกของพี่เลิกงานมาพี่ต้องมานั่งกดละชั่วโมง2 ชั่วโมงต้องมากดดูก็พยายามนะพยายามแต่ก็หาไม่เจอสักทีจนปี2018นี่แหละปี2018ตอนนั้นปีนั้นพี่ก็อายุ44 ปีพอดีเนาะก็คืนนั้นรู้สึกท้อนั่งกดคอมพิวเตอร์รู้สึกท้อคืนนั้นท้อมากมาถึงจุดหนึ่งที่ว่ามันไม่ไหวแล้วคือนี่แหละคืนสุดท้ายของฉันจะไม่หาจะไม่ตามหาพ่ออีกก็พอตื่นเช้ามาก็นั่นแหละก็ตื่นเช้ามาล้างหน้าแปรงฟันก็กินข้าวเช้าปุ๊บก็มานั่งดูทีวีปุ๊บไอ้เด็กก็ขึ้นมาเลยโฆษณาในทีวีเลยไอ้ ancestry.com
Introducing Ancestry DNA, a simple, affordable DNA test that lets you travel up to 1,000 years into the past.
ที่เขาก็ส่งข้อมูลมานะครับอย่างที่บอกว่าDNA อยู่เนี่ยตรงกับผู้ชายคนนี้นะตรงกับผู้ชายคนนี้เขาบอกว่าเป็นพ่อเป็นลูกกันนะครับเป็นพ่อเป็นลูกกันเราก็รู้สึกแบบขนลุกไปหมดนะแบบไม่อยากเชื่อพี่ก็เริ่มติดต่อพ่อด้วยการส่งข้อความไปที่แมสเซจที่เขามีให้ในแอปก็สิ่งแรกที่บอกไปคือว่ารู้จักผู้หญิงคนนี้ไหมชวนผิดนามมาเขาก็ตอบมาเขารู้จักอะไรอย่างเงี้ยเราก็เริ่มติดต่อกันทางอีเมลแล้วเขาก็ส่งรูปภาพที่เขาเคยอยู่เมืองไทยสมัยก่อนที่อยู่อุดรนะเขาก็ส่งรูปแม่มาสมัยแม่เป็นสาวแม่สวยมากนะแม่เป็นคนน่ารักมากสมัยก่อนนะยายญาติพี่น้องที่อยู่บ้านด้วยกันนะเห็นหมดเลยโอ้โหนี่เราก็รู้แล้วว่าผู้ชายคนนี้คือพ่อเราแล้วเขาก็ยอมรับเราว่าเขาก็รู้เขาก็บอกว่าฉันรู้นะตอนที่อยู่เกิดฉันก็ติดต่อกับแม่อะไรสักอย่างกับแม่อยู่แล้วอยู่เฉยๆก็ขาดการติดต่อไปโดยที่ไม่รู้สาเหตุแล้วตัวเขาเองนี่ก็ไม่รู้ว่าจะตามหาผู้อยู่ยังไงก็ระบายหลายอย่างเล่าให้ฟังว่าชีวิตเนี่ยมันลำบากจริงแล้วก็แต่เขาก็ยอมรับฟังทุกอย่างแล้วเขาก็บอกว่าเอางี้กันแล้วกันอย่าพยายามเล่าความหลังเลยนะเขาก็บอกว่าให้ชีวิตพวกเราเนี่ย move forward ก็คือต่อไปเนี้ยนายมีอะไรที่ต้องการความช่วยเหลือพวกเราจะช่วยทั้งหมด ตอนที่เจอพ่อครั้งแรกนี่หลังจากเฟซไทม์แล้วเนี่ยอลิซาเบธวันเกิดพอดีจุลายแกก็ว่าเดี๋ยวจะมาวันเกิดหลานคือเราก็ไม่ใช่เด็กนะบางทีเราก็เย่แดดี้อะไรอย่างงี้ใช่ๆกันเราก็จับมือแล้วก็แบบจับมือแล้วก็กอดกันแบบฮักธรรมดาให้ good to see you man ลักษณะอย่างนี้เข้าใจป่ะ finally เข้าใจป่ะก็สนุกดีนะก็เจอกันรู้สึกว่าตื่นเต้นมากก็ไม่อยากเชื่อในชีวิตหลังจาก44 ปีได้สัมผัสนะได้สัมผัสแต่ว่ามันก็ไม่ได้จบตรงนั้นใช่ไหมมันก็ต้องมีการกระจายข่าวแล้วคราวนี้ใช่ป่ะถ้าฉันหาเจอพวกนายก็ต้องหาเจอเหมือนกันพวกนายที่ว่าคือเพื่อนๆที่โตมาด้วยกันลูกครึ่งผิวดำผิวขาว
เราก็สนใจแล้วก็เลยคุยกับเพื่อนว่าเราต้องใช้อะไรบ้างในการชุดตรวจนี้เพราะเราไม่เข้าใจว่าชุดตรวจ DNA นั้นมันคืออะไรก็มีเพื่อนคนหนึ่งที่ชื่อแอนดี้เนี่ยเขาบอกเดี๋ยวเขามาเขาจะเดินทางมา
เราทำค่ายด้วยกันทำกิจกรรมด้วยกันเมื่อตอนตั้งแต่สมัย 16-17 ปี
ฮัลโหล
ฮัลโหล
ลองทำหน่อยสิ
ไกลชิบเป่งแอนดี้มาอเมริกาตอนที่มอริสกำลังที่เข้าวงการแล้ว
นี่เธอหยุดงานยาวนานขนาดไหนอะ
ก็ทำงานมอริสบอกว่ามาเมืองไทยเอากล่อง DNA มาให้ด้วยนะแล้วว่าใครจะเอามั่งใครจะมั่งเขาก็แท็กกันมาเขาก็ที่ Facebook อ่ะแล้วก็คือเวลาเรามาเจอกันก็เปิดกล่องก็register ด้วยกันอ่ะลงทะเบียนด้วยกันแล้วก็ใส่แซมเปิลด้วยกันแล้วก็เราก็บอกว่าทำยังไงเป็นขั้นตอนจะได้ขนแซมเปิลกลับมาที่อเมริกา
ผมก็ไม่ตรวจไม่เจอพ่อนะตอนนั้นนะพ่อไม่ได้ตรวจ DNA แล้วก็ไม่มีรายละเอียดของพ่ออยู่นั้นแต่ไปเจอกับคนที่เป็นญาติของพ่อซึ่งชื่อคุณธัญญาในติดต่อกลับมาเราก็เลยถามคุณธัญญาบอกว่าคุณธัญญาช่วยบอกหน่อยได้ไหมว่าทำไม DNA ของเราตรงกันมีใครในครอบครัวของคุณเนี่ยเคยมาที่เมืองไทยไหมตั้งแต่ปี 1964 ถึง 1966
You know, at first I had seconds of this is weird. Is this a scam? It's definitely going to be an elder in my family, and in our family, like you know. Honor and respect is very important. So I thought I can't ask any of my elders, but I can get my dad to ask. So I went to my dad right away and said, "Hey, do you know anybody who was in Thailand? Maybe I don't know if anybody was in Thailand, but did anybody travel?"
Oh, I ain't going to sit down.
This is the girl here. She had on a white Easter dress.
She contacted her father. Her father contacted me, asked me was I in Thailand at a certain time, and I was.
Correct.
So he asked me would I do a DNA.